Hey everybody, we are here in Magdala, and I'm here with Erez, Sasson, and this place means a lot to me. I remember the first time I came here, just absolutely loved it. I think of the story of Mary Magdalene. The reason that we read her name the way we do in the Bible is because she was from this area. But right now, I'm going to ask Erez to just take over from here and fill us in, because this place, I look at this synagogue and the rest that's here, it's truly amazing.
Hi Tom, hi everyone. Magdala, I think, is an extraordinary site here in Israel. First of all, it was found by mistake, a really mistake. Wherever I throw a stone and it lands, I start digging, I find something. So Magdala was found, well, they could say by mistake, but no mistakes here. Magdala was a big city in the time of Yeshua, 2,000 years ago. As we said before, people would pass through the land of Israel, and coming from the main junction, meaning the Jezreel Valley, also known as the Valley of Armageddon, they would be led to the east, to the Sea of Galilee area through the valley behind us, and the first city that they would see would be Magdala. Magdala, or in Aramaic, or Migdal in Hebrew, means tower. And as you said, Pastor, back then in the days, people did not have last names. It was always a reference where they came from, like Jesus of Nazareth, or your father's name, Jesus, son of Joseph. So we know that Miriam or Mary came from Migdal or Magdala, from this city around here. We're talking about a rich city. We're talking about a big Jewish city with a big priesthood. Now, the first thing that we see here coming to the site is this amazing synagogue. But get this, Pastor, this is the only synagogue, the only one around the Sea of Galilee from the time of Jesus. And as I say that, the question that rises to mind, was Jesus here? Did he teach here? Did he perform miracles? For that we need text, right? And in Matthew 15, verse 37, it says, "And he sent away the multitude, got into the boat," probably from the north, from Capernaum, where we came from, sent away the multitude, got into the boat, and came to the region of Magdala. So Jesus was here. And if we know that he was here, most chances are, and I believe it 100%, that he came here to the synagogue and taught, and maybe even performed miracles, healing people.
I find this place so fascinating just from that alone. I remember the first time I came here, seeing this synagogue like it is. And you mentioned it's the only synagogue so far that's been discovered, the real synagogue
From the time of
the time of Jesus. And I'm convinced Jesus would have come to this synagogue. I mean, and when I look around and I think he would have walked in here, and I think of Mary Magdalene after he had cast the demons out of her, I'm thinking she certainly would have come to this synagogue also, unless there were other synagogues in the area. Just fascinating to me. And then when you look at it, you have Mount Arbel back here. So you have, as you mentioned, coming from the Jezreel Valley, they'd be coming through this valley. All the people are coming this way into the Galilee region. Just really incredible. When you think of the size of Magdala, and we see all the buildings around here now that are put up, even a hotel and everything, but they've preserved this. And some of the other things we're going to look at shortly. How large of a city do they think Magdala was?
Well, we have to remember that life continues on. I mean, there's a limit on how much you could dig and reveal. You need the land to live upon. You need the land to grow. Most sites, only 5, 6 to 8% have been revealed to us. And when archaeologists decide what part to reveal, they're usually looking for the city center. And all the sites, if you think about Caesarea Maritima or Beit She'an, it's always the city center, to learn about the essence of the people, to learn through the different structures who these people were. The city was a big city. I don't know if even 5% of the city has been revealed to us here. Really, it goes beyond the road that we came from. It goes beyond the new hotel that was built, all the way to the Sea of Galilee, because a portion of the big harbor of Magdala has also been revealed to us. So this city was big. If I'm talking about population, number of people living here, well, back then in the days, let's say Jerusalem or Caesarea had between 30 to 50,000 people. Those were huge cities. Magdala was not as huge as that. It was a big city for the area of around the Sea of Galilee, maybe 8,000, something like that, maybe 9,000 people, Jews living here.
Yeah, totally fascinating to me. Also, at this site, there's that stone that's back over there, encased, but the original is in the museum, correct?
Yes.
But what is that stone?
Well, first of all, this synagogue, it's divided into two parts. This is not an entrance. Actually, if you try to imagine it, there would be something like a big, let's say, big ark, or to put in books of the Torah. The entrance would be from there, from the right, into the main structure. Now, if you look at the main structure, it looks kind of small, but we managed with 4 buses to allow 150 people not only to enter but also to sit all around there.
150?
150 people sitting over there, and the rabbi sitting right in the center. And you could see the replica of the stone there as well. He would sit down and put the scrolls upon the rock over there that was used as a table, and then read from it. Here, this is the only stone where we lie our scrolls upon that we found in all of Israel. And this is an amazing stone. Why? Because it's kind of like a 3D version of the temple itself. If you go around the stone, you could see the columns. On the back of it, you could see the vessels of the temple that existed. In front, you could see the entrance of the temple. So try to imagine the rabbi. Try to imagine Yeshua opening over there the scroll and reading. It kind of takes you back to Jerusalem and the holiness of Jerusalem. Now I'm in the courtyard. Now I'm getting closer. You still feel Jerusalem and its holiness, even when you're far away from home, even when you're far away from Jerusalem and you're around here. You have the table, 3D image of the temple itself.
It's truly incredible. When I think of this, in years past, I've gone inside here. Like I said, you said 150 people in here. That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people.
And just think, as you mentioned it, Jesus in here teaching is a very realistic possibility or probability. It's just
I believe that.
Truly a remarkable place. So the entrance over there, the Torah scroll would have been here?
I believe so. Usually it's away from the door to honor it. Here you would perhaps have rabbis. The whole idea of a synagogue was not a place of prayer in the beginning, guys. It started off probably when the southern kingdom of Judah was exiled to Babylon, and there was no temple, and they needed a place to socialize, if you will. Just from the name of it, Beit HaKnesset, the house of gathering. Our parliament is called the Knesset, the place of gathering. So the house of gathering would be a place where the Jews would gather, have their holy ceremonies, if it's a circumcision, the bar mitzvah, the rite of passage, and a wedding under the house of God. A synagogue was used to teach people about scriptures, about the Lord, about the stories. It was to solve any problems you would have over there with the rabbis that would be used as judges to take care of all kinds of problems that occurred.
So it could act like a court in a
courtyard,
sense,
exactly.
a city council,
Exactly.
These different things for that particular area.
Exactly. Back then in the days, praying was not instituted in Judaism. I mean, we had the people's personal prayers, like remember Hannah's prayer in Shiloh, for instance, or why am I going so far, the Lord's Prayer of Yeshua. That was his own personal rabbinical prayer that he taught his people, his disciples. Other rabbis did not know it, or maybe he shared with them, but it wasn't instituted inside the synagogue. If you think about it, the only prayer that existed back then in the day that was instituted would be inside the temple on the Shabbat day, when they would read Deuteronomy 6:4, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. But then After the temple was destroyed in the year 70, the importance of the synagogue all of a sudden rose from a place of socializing. It became much more than that. All of a sudden, they moved the prayer of Hear, O Israel from the temple, because no more temple, into the synagogue. But it would be later on, in the beginning of the 4th century AD, that the Jews started praying inside the synagogue, and Judaism has totally changed. But as you see here, this synagogue, think of a place of teaching, a place of helping, a place of solving problems, a place of maybe saving or keeping the community stronger.
I like that. Why don't we take a walk? Let's go over to the marketplace and learn a little bit more over there.
Let's do that.
So we're here, Erez. We moved from the synagogue over to the marketplace, and you shared a little bit with me off camera that it really blows me away to think of this, all of Magdala, the things that you've shared so far on camera and off. So some of the things you shared off camera, I'm going to say go for it with all of our viewers, because I think they're really going to like this.
Think about it, Tom. I mean, if I was journeying back then in the days for weeks or months, coming to this area of the Sea of Galilee, a big lake, maybe a vacation spot, I would be excited entering Magdala. Magdala would be the first city that I would see, and what a city it was. We just saw the synagogue, but here we're in the market area. In the market area, you would have fresh fruit and vegetables and fish. I'm journeying now for 2 weeks. I want something fresh, right? I could come here to these pools and I would tell them, please, could I have 2 of these fish? We could see here the pools. Or maybe I want some fish for 2 or 3 more days when I continue on my journey. I need something preserved. So maybe I'll buy from here preserved fish, salted fish. Now the salted fish of Magdala, and this is quite amazing, were known throughout the whole ancient world. We found some writings from Rome saying that if you happen to be in the region of Magdala where we are now, don't forget to get me some of the salted fish. People had a taste for it because it was so delicious. And we could have found them here 2,000 years ago.
That just is amazing. So these are believed to be the actual pools. So people are coming through. There's Mount Arbel, we can see it, the valley. They're walking here. They see this great big city. This is the marketplace. Everybody's walking through it. I think of, Jerusalem and Tel Aviv, you have the Shuk. I think it's Carmel in Tel Aviv, and in Jerusalem, Machane Yehuda. And then this would have been the Shuk.
The nice Shuk.
A nice Shuk from way back at the time of Jesus. So Jesus would have definitely walked through this marketplace, walking past the fish.
Of course.
I can imagine him stopping and telling stories. In the Gospel of John, John writes about all of the different things that Jesus did. There's so many, there's not enough books to write about all of them. So it doesn't take much of an imagination to start to see Jesus would have walked through here, had conversations with people in the Shuk, have the salted fish, the famous place, just absolutely a remarkable visit. And I remember years and years ago, driving by Magdala before it was really open as a site. And I wanted to go there just because of the stories in the Bible. Then one day it opened and got to come here, and I've been coming ever since. But every time I come here, I see something else. Just really a treat.
This was a rich city. This was a city that you would have living water, flowing water passing through the city. This wasn't common. In the Roman world, it was common. They knew that living water, flowing water from rain, springs, and floods was a sign of good health and a modern city. And they tried very hard to bring living water into their cities. We see the Arbel Mount in front of us, and there were freshwater springs flowing from there. So they would catch them and lead it through the aqueduct, through the channel, inside the city. So with this living water, they could fill up their mikvaot, their ritual bath. With this living water, they could wash their plate, their tools, their clothes. I mean, they had it made here. They had good food, preserved food. They had water. They had health. This was the city to live in if you could afford it, if you could become part of this community. No doubt, Magdala.
Well, this is just wonderful. Thank you, Erez, for another wonderful time with you. And listen, I know I've mentioned it. I would like to invite you to come to Israel with us, but I know we can't take everybody in the world on our tours. So if you can come with us, but if not, make sure that you go with somebody. Find a church, a pastor that actually believes the Bible is true, and go with that group. Don't go with one that doesn't believe the Bible is true, but take a good tour and you're going to be absolutely blessed. And I can't wait to see you another time with Erez. Shalom.
Shalom.